Who's got the largest locksmith company in the country? Well, you're looking at him. Nope, not me. That guy. I'm Robert with Acme Locksmith, and you're watching Locksmith Recommended.
Yes, it's true. The company KeyMe has figured out how to trick Google by making Google think they have thousands of locksmith shops all over the country. And what's more, Google's doing nothing about it. So what? What does it mean to you? Let's find out. Now here's a screenshot of the so-called locksmith shops that KeyMe owns in my service area, Phoenix, Arizona. Now take a look at the sheer number of these locations. KeyMe has successfully tricked Google into thinking that every one of those markers is a locksmith shop. And they've done this at multiple cities across the United States. They have thousands of these. KeyMe has lied to you and said that every one of those locations is a locksmith shop where you can go in and find a real live locksmith. But if you have a locksmith need other than key duplication and you go to any of those locations, you're going to be ticked. So why is this against Google policy? Why is it against policy to claim you have a physical location that somebody can walk into when you don't really have one? Well, all internet search software triggers off of geography. They figure if you're searching for a coffee shop, you want a coffee shop that is near your current location. Makes sense, right? But most service-based businesses don't need a store. Plumbers, locksmiths, electricians, etc. They usually go to you. And when the internet took off, scammers took advantage of this. I'm defining a scammer here as a company that quotes you some extraordinarily low rate only to price gouge you for hundreds and even thousands of dollars once the job is done. I'll put a link to our articles and examples of locksmith scammers down below. So these scam companies started listing thousands of addresses for their businesses just so that they could be returned high in Google search results. So you thought they were close by and they could steal your business from another company and rip you off. Now Google called on to this. It was covered nationwide in a lot of news stories, and they created a specific policy that states service area businesses that serve customers at their locations should only have one page for a designated service area. And they also clearly state in their policies in bold print, never make false, misleading, or unrealistic claims. Basically, you cannot list an address unless someone can walk into that address and find a real live person performing the services you claim to perform. Here, KeyMe is claiming to be a locksmith. But there are hundreds of locksmith services that these machines cannot perform, and there is no locksmith at any of these locations. If they listed all these locations as key duplication services, I'm on board because that's exactly what they are. But they're not locksmiths. They're lying to Google and they're lying to you to dominate search so that you call them for the locksmith service instead of a company that's playing by the rules. Does it matter to you? Well, first off, it's going to create a really bad experience should you ever need a locksmith. Say you want to actually go into a locksmith shop because you don't want to pay a locksmith to come out to you. You save a ton of money when you bring your needs into a locksmith shop. You get in your car, you put in the time and effort, you drive over there, and boom, there's no locksmith shop there. That's going to be extremely frustrating. Secondly, they're taking money out of your local community. Money spent in a local community with a local business tends to stay in that local community to support jobs, schools, streets, etc. Every dollar you spend out of state stays out of state. Third, they're hurting local locksmith businesses. Legitimate locksmiths following Google rules for their business listings are going to lose calls to these fake listings. And lastly, are they going to treat you honestly? Now look, for legal reasons, I can't say that they won't, but I can tell you this. They've already lied to you. They've already lied to Google. Is this a company you could trust for your locksmith services? Let's give you a quick background on KeyMe. They started out as a key duplication kiosk service, and in the beginning they were listing all of these kiosks as key duplication locations. But then they decided they wanted to crack into the locksmith industry, and that's when they changed all these addresses, these thousands of addresses to locksmith locations, and started violating the policy. So how did KeyMe get away with it? How did they list these addresses as locksmith shops? You know, I really don't have an answer for that. Google has verification techniques that they use to validate that addresses are legitimate, and somehow KeyMe has bypassed all those. Now, I did discover in my research that one of the key investors in KeyMe is a company called White Star Capital. And White Star Capital was founded by a former executive of Google. And that executive now is a board member of KeyMe. Have anything to do with it? I don't know. But Google also has ways to report these violations. I've gone into individual Google Maps listings of these KeyMe businesses and said, hey, these are under the wrong category. They should be under key duplication service. None of those changes have been approved. And not only have those changes not been approved, but Google has disabled the ability to suggest that those kiosks are duplication services. You can no longer suggest that change to Google. I've also gone in and filled out the Google redressal complaint form, which is meant specifically to target these false listings. Again, never a response, never a change. Google seems to be completely ignoring this problem. I'll include a link to that Google readdressal complaint form down below. So if you have an interest in this, go out and fill out that form and submit it to Google, and let's raise some awareness, see if we can't fix this problem. But for right now, a machine is Google's #1 locksmith in the United States. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button down below. I'm Robert with Acme Locksmith, and you've been watching Locksmith Recommended.